Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast for a brand new episode this week, where we are going to have a look at some players that we think would improve this Rangers side. Obviously, looking at the window so far, it's been really, really quiet. I mean, there's been rumours about Ridvan Yilmaz leaving, and he's playing in the friendly the other day. There's rumours about players we're interested in. The club have come out and issued statements saying, "Nah, we're not actually in for them." So it's been poor so far to really gauge anything that's actually going on. We obviously had Philippe come out and speak after the friendly on Saturday, saying they're still obviously working to get targets in, saying the same stuff. Notoriously, January's a hard window to get your targets in and stuff. So, aye, for me, obviously that's a different story for a different day with the scouting at the club. I feel like it should be so much better than what it is. But we've picked out some players, some really obvious that everybody's going to be looking at and thinking, right, aye, they would improve Rangers. A couple other ones I'm thinking logically, some loan deals, and then some players that are obviously doing really well in their respective leagues. Anyway, obviously you've got your man on the thumbnail there that you've selected and thought he'd be a good signing for Rangers. So, aye, if you do agree with any of picks, if you do have any picks that we didn't obviously look at today, let us know in the comments and we'll get back to you on them. So first, obviously, we just need to start on Lon Shankland. I mean, it's typical every single window. I think since this guy's been at Ayr, he's been linked to Rangers. Um, it feels like right now is the right moment for that signing to happen. I mean, he's absolutely fantastic for Hearts this season. He's a captain. He's providing in big moments all the time. We are sitting there with Cyril Dessers who can't trap a ball. It's Kemar Roof, who's always an injury, sidelines, and Danilo, again, who is crocked, obviously. So, really, really poor in that area of the pitch. Just pay the money and get Lon Shankland in the club, please.
I mean, that's as simple as that, mate. Pay the money, get him in. Obviously, I had him on my summer list as well. So for me, it's one that Rangers have got to do. Obviously, stats this season, what have you, has been fantastic. It just all round makes sense. Obviously, there was the rumours of getting rid of obviously Yalmaz and then maybe using that money to get Shankland in. I just think either way, get him in, as you say. We're lacking in that department. The man's firing. It just makes sense.
Nah, I mean, obviously, the problem with this one is the fact that Hearts are going to be really hard to kind of deal with. Obviously, they're looking to get him under a new
Same.
contract, and they'll try to basically throw everything at Lon Shankland for him to stay. But I think in his head, there'll be clubs lining up to pay the money for him. But he's obviously notoriously. I mean, I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but as for a Rangers background, and he would obviously love to play for the club. You would think. I think if we put that question out there, if we bid for him and we obviously look like a proper club in the transfer market for once and get a proper player in, it'd be lovely. But
Be nice.
I think for him as well, 28 years old, he might think this move might not come about again because Rangers in the summer again they're going to strengthen. Players will leave the club. Players will come in more than January anyway, and I could I see us going for Shankland in the summer if we've got other targets lined up. I'm not so sure, but at the moment, I mean, it just makes all the sense in the world. That's probably why it won't won't happen.
Exactly. This is what I'm on about. I mean, deals that make sense to me and you, and obviously people listening or watching. Like the club just came out and saying, "Ah, we're not going in for him. Instead, we're going to get somebody like Dessers in or Lammers, who really offers nothing." I mean, this guy here, as we're saying, firing all fronts. Obviously, you get the international as well. He'll be pushing obviously for a place in the team in the summer as well. So it just makes all the sense in the world for me.
Nah, makes sense. And obviously, as his stats for this season, 28 games played, 18 goals scored, three assists. I mean, he's been on fire this season, Shankland. Three goals even in the qualifiers in Europe as well. So showing he can also step up a level and provide there. Scored that massive goal away at Easter Road, scored away at Celtic Park, scored away at Ibrox. I mean, what else do you need to say for this guy? He's got it all at the moment, and hopefully we could get him in this January. The second one, you've obviously selected this one, Cameron Puertas of Union Saint Gilloise in Belgium. I mean, this is a guy that stats are frightening this season in the middle of the park. I mean, if we take a look, obviously 29 games played, 15 assists and 6 goals, and that's not just a team that are kind of wilting away in the middle of the league. They're top of the league in Belgium, and they've consistently really improved since we played them. Actually, a couple of seasons ago. So, I mean, Spanish, really good age as well, still coming up in his career. he's valued at around about 7 million on transfer marked, but his contract's up in 2025. I mean, these are the kind of players for me anyway. We need to be finding these players before
Oh,
they go to these clubs. Like, where was Cameron Puertas before he went to Union Saint Gilloise? That's what we need to really
uh,
identify. But I think it'd obviously be a dream signing in January, but you do
it's
expect
not going
this
to
guy to
happen.
go go
You,
higher.
you you know the club, as I say, we highlight quality players all the time, and then they get big moves to European sides, obviously. Something that we're not wanting to do is sign quality players. It feels like here. This guy, as I say, it's been fantastic this season. I was sort of thinking myself when we were doing this, right, looking realistically where Rangers will go in the markets, sort of manager's background, obviously, what have you. I came across this guy, and as I say, seeing his stats and also watching a bit of the highlights. Obviously, YouTube highlights can be a bit misleading at times. I mean, I thought with Cifuentes we were getting an absolute baller, but so far it's hit or miss. But with this boy here, I just think it'd be a quality signing in an area, obviously, where are lacking real quality.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's doing well, and I think this would be these are the kind of signings that really do take you up a bit of a level, and you need to go and pay for
Well,
players like this. Um,
that's where you want to be, but you know what I mean. You get that quality in, and why shouldn't Rangers be looking to bring a player of this quality in instead
nah,
of setting a sight so low? And you know what I mean. I just think to myself, there's a quality player, go and get him before you know maybe a Premier League team or maybe a French. You know, one of these kind of clubs and these kind of leagues are going to be in for these kind of players. So just makes all the sense in the world. Also, Brighton, there's not something to do with Brighton.
I think the owner of Brighton actually owns him, so
So you never know where he might just splat out, like, listen, you're going to Brighton, what have you? So it'd be nice for Rangers to actually maybe just splash the cash and get a quality player in.
nah, I mean he's a top player, and as I say, his contract's running out same time as Shankland's as well. So realistically, I mean you could get him for probably a bit cheaper, but the way this window's going now, and it just doesn't seem like we're really going to be spending that much money, which is unfortunate because players like this don't really come
Yeah.
cheap. So obviously his stats are really good. So we won't be signing him. It'd be great though. It'd be a massive state of intent to obviously sign a player like that. But Danny Armstrong, I feel is a guy that shows us we don't have to spend big all the time to get a player of good value and good quality. This guy's been one of the best players in the league this year, and I really took note of him last season when we played against them. Obviously, get sent off in the game at Rugby Park, but Kilmarnock have improved again this season. They've been really good. They've obviously got some massive results. They're sitting pretty in the table, and it's just a lot of it's all down to Armstrong and his work on the right hand side. I mean, he's physical. He's got trickery about him. He's fast. He can obviously assist goals. He scored. He obviously scored a penalty at Ibrox in the last game. For me, we're just kind of sitting with Ross McCausland. I feel like Ross McCausland is a great talent. He's going to be a good player for this club, but you've only got him at the moment. He's
Mm.
playing every game. Who's there to actually push him? You don't want him to kind of track back a wee bit and think, right, I'm just going to be playing every game anyway. Need competition in that area, and we've always kind of needed competition in the right wing area. We're just obviously lucky that McCausland's came through the academy in that position. That doesn't take away for the fact that we need to sign somebody there though. And I mean Armstrong would be absolutely ideal for me. Obviously, you picked him out, and we've both obviously had a look at him this season. I mean, 10 assists and 5 goals across obviously the domestic competitions in Scotland. Still 26 years old as well. I feel that again, everyone kind of adds up for this one, and it should be one we're definitely having a look at.
Definitely. As I say, you've got to be also realistic also with signings as well. And I do feel that in the last couple of seasons, whatever, we've not looked at our league and thought, right, who's maybe the best players we can take and bring them into the squad. And this guy's obviously having a fantastic season. I just think the obvious deal maybe to make here would probably be send Scott Wright to Kilmarnock and maybe bring this guy in, or maybe a wee bit of money there as well. But definitely a quality player and somebody who's obviously, as you say, been impressive so far this season.
No, I mean he's been top class every time I've saw him. So I think again
Especially on
as
that park, by the way. But especially on the park he's playing on as well. Do you know what I mean? He's still
mm,
turned up a bit of performances in as well. So,
no,
aye, top draw.
no, and obviously we'll add into the European squad as well
Yeah.
for the numbers there. So it'd be great to get more kind of Scottish players in, players in the league. I feel like these players consistently just slip away from us all the time, and you could probably get Armstrong. See if you go and offer up to £1 million to Kilmarnock. I reckon you could probably get him I reckon like you could probably ask a question. You could maybe add in a player on loan or something like that to. You've got example Scott Wright. You could send out Scott Wright to them on loan, and like, there's.
Telling you, Scott Wright in a fudge. There you go. That's a bit. You know what I mean?
But be a great signing. Obviously, you've selected Abdellah Sima. I feel like again, if we're not going to be spending any money, why are we not looking at the permanent transfer of Sima? Why are we not kind of looking to see if we can get that done as quick as we can before it gets to the summer? And Sima's scored 25 goals this season, and Brighton actually want him to start. So obviously difficult to operate again with the finances of these players. It's looking it's going to be kind of upwards of about 7 million for Sima, but obviously you kind of want to get this one done. 100% on board
It's
as well.
just if we're not going to do any real proper business this window, obviously it seems that way. Just get the guy in that's been firing so far this season. I just think you go and you offer them, you give them whatever they want, and you get him in. He's been fantastic for us so far this season. As I say, just go and do the business, Rangers, and get him in the door permanently.
Nah, I mean he's been a revolution in this team after a slow start. He's scored about 15 in all competitions now, and couple of assists as well. He's playing near enough every game. Obviously, he's playing today for Senegal, so I hope they get beaten. We get him back quicker because obviously the options out in the wings aren't looking too great at the moment with him gone. And aye, it's the fact that if he leaves in the summer and goes back to Brighton and we don't get him permanently, we need to again look at that area and find a guy who's going to contribute his 15 goals so far up to
Yeah.
this point for the wide areas. I mean, our strikers aren't scoring goals. It's all really reliant on Seema and Tavernier, to be honest with you, where we actually get our goals for. So he's a huge player for the club, and I really hope we can tie it down. Obviously, Philippe Clement, notoriously a supporter of him as well. So I hope he kind of plays a part in it as well. And I think it'd be a good place for him to continue to develop. 22 years old, get him in a contract. You never know where those guys' heights can go. So, aye, really desperate to get Seaman before. I mean, if we could start those discussions in January, as you say, that's why he's on this list. It would be perfect. But definitely in the summer, I feel like this is just going to go on
You
and
just,
on. And you
you
would
just
like
don't
to
want
have it kind of
another.
settled.
Absolutely. You just don't want another like Tillman situation, do you know what I mean? Where you're thinking, right, if we're not getting him in January, summer, what have you. But I just think right now, as you say, been one of the main contributors, get him in, get it done, you know what I mean? And I really hope the manager does get properly backed. Obviously, summer he will, but I just, come on, you need to give the manager the players he wants. And I think this is definitely a guy the manager would want to keep around at the club. So just makes all the sense in the world for me.
Nah. And then you've got Charlie Cresswell, obviously Leeds man yourself, obviously keep an eye on what they're doing.
Uh,
Obviously riding quite high in the championship after quite a slow start. Seems like Daniel Farker has got his favourites. He's got his team. I mean, I see Glenn Kamara playing near enough every game. I see um, Charlie Cresswell basically playing no games at all. Obviously you've mentioned that there's been a bit of ongoing kind of.
I will just obviously Daniel Farker's last sort of kind of press conference, he was sort of really just having a go really at him. And I was just thinking to myself, obviously, I think he was talking about if there was an offer that came in for him, he would let him go. So I was just thinking to myself, right, well, a bit of business here. You get this, obviously, we're linked to him in the summer and what have you. Get him up here, and we'll send Ben Davies down. I just think something like that would be a fair deal. But I just think he's a quality young player. He had a fantastic season at Millwall, obviously on loan and what have you. So I just think it would make sense to get him in at this window if we could. Obviously, as I say, Leeds are willing to take offers for him. It just makes sense for me.
Nah, I mean, if we can, he's 21 years old. I mean, I like to look at what I saw him when we were linked with him in the summer. It's obviously not worked out as I kind of thought it was. I thought he was going to be quite a mainstay player for Leeds this season, but it's not
Yeah.
happened. He's kind of not got on with Farker or whatever else. And aye, a cut price deal, 21-year-old English centre half. I mean, they don't come around every so often. And I think it would be a welcome addition, an upgrade to what we've got on that left hand side because although Connor Goldson starts every game, you can clearly see Connor Goldson's regressing with his age a wee bit. He's not as good, he's not as quick as he once was. We need to start looking at these young guys to sort of bleed them through. Like guys like Leon King, I don't feel are ready yet. Balogun's obviously, Balogun's a great option to have. You don't really want Balogun starting every single one of your games though. Suter has been suspect this season. Ben Davies again missing a lot of the time. I think it's time for money to be spent on a new left sided centre half, and I'm all on board with Cresswell. If we could get it done, I mean, 3.5 to 4 million was what we paid for Ben Davies. If you could get a younger guy in, I mean, I think it'd be smart.
Make all the sense in the world. And as I say, obviously not playing this season. I think, as I say in the press, Daniel was sort of calling him out for obviously not wanting it as much, being lazy, what have you, or just basically saying that he's not going to play over the players that are obviously playing and the injured players that have you. Is I just feel like it just makes sense that we get this guy in. Obviously, we're linked to him in the summer, so I just think maybe Rangers' eyes are still on him. Leeds willing to let him go. Why not? Why not just go for it?
No, no, I think that was a really good option as well. His stats said, oh, as you see, he's only played 6 games, 4 games in the Championship, 2 in the Cup. I mean, he's really not playing at all this season.
And
Um,
he is a fighter, by the way, as well, just to mention, obviously, coming through the academy system, having to fight for your place there. And I mean, going to Millwall on one, it's a tough place to, you know what I
no,
mean? You
no, of course, you need to be tough to play there. So, aye, for him to get games as well, probably for Leeds to see how much he does actually want to succeed as well, even alone until the end of the season, where we are operating in the loan market, which is a shame, to be honest. In January, we're kind of looking to see what deals we can get done and get some quality in that way. And again, I don't think I would be too surprised if Charlie Cresswell obviously had to move out of Leeds either on a loan or a permanent deal. So we'll see how that unfolds. But I think definitely we need a centre half in at some point. I just don't think we'll get the centre halves off the books that we've already got, which is the problem. Um, then on to some of the ones I've had a look at as well. Sergio Gomez at Man City, obviously. Man City don't tend to play him. Josko Gvardiol, Nathan Ake all preferred at left back to Gomez. He's obviously 23 years old. He's played 9 games this season. He's only played 2 in the Premier League. He's played the Champions League games, obviously, because City, I mean, they get their games done, they're qualified by like the third game. So obviously, he's had some game time there. And this is all just kind of impending on the future of Ridvan Yilmaz because we've obviously been linked with David Jurasek from Benfica, Josh Doig, Ridvan Yilmaz apparently going. 1 minute he's not, it's just been hectic, and I feel like an area of the pitch. I mean, if Ridvan Yilmaz had to go, obviously we would have to bring somebody in, but there's more important areas in this team. I think we should be focusing on first of all. But I think we're not going to sign a left back on a fee. If Sergio Gomez wants to come up here and play for 6 months, I think again it could make sense for obviously the quality we're getting. 6 months to kind of plan who we're going to actually sign in that area for long term future, and aye, kind of the way the deals have been going with the Benfica left back and stuff, all kind of loan deals. So for me, I think it would be a good one. Don't know how feasible it would be, but it's all kind of
know?
dependent on what happens with Yilmaz.
Oh, it's definitely a good option to obviously look at as well. But was he not Anderlecht as well? Was he
Yeah, that's
not?
where I think they signed them for actually.
Aye, so I mean, yeah, again, playing in a sort of kind of league similar to Australia's. But no, it's definitely a good option. Obviously, it's weird to sit here and talk about Yilmaz potentially leaving the club. Do you know what I mean? You've seen the last couple of performances really coming into his own, and just it's crazy so far what we're getting linked with. Obviously, loans and whatever. So I mean, this one could, if it was to happen, it'd be decent, mate.
No, definitely depending on what's to happen there. The next guy I've got in is Shermiti of Everton. I mean, I'm just kind of looking to obviously we've went and we've got Fabio Silva in for Wolves on loan. Obviously, still a young player, attacker. Hopefully, does well for us in 6 months. Again, I'm looking in that kind of region. Shermiti's not playing for Everton. I mean, Everton are needing something going forward, and they really prefer Beto and McNeil and Harrison and Doucouré and Calvert-Lewin to Shermiti. So I think to see where he's at as well. He's only 19 years old, signed in the summer. I think again, ask the question, get him on loan. I think he could be quite an interesting player for us. Obviously, at Sporting Lisbon, he showed enough for Everton to sign him. He's only played 9 games this season. He scored 1 goal. Again, not really playing too much football at all. Could definitely be an option for we need wide men as well. I don't if we don't go and sign somebody like Danny Armstrong or something like that, it would be smart business to maybe go and get a guy like this in.
I definitely, definitely, mate. I can't say I know too much about the player, obviously, but definitely needing wide men. So could be a good shout, could be a good option. Also, Everton, think about obviously the financial stuff and that there in as well. Maybe looking to loan some players out, get some players off the book. So it could be a decent one to look at.
No. definitely Shamiti. And then this is one of the kind of same ones as your Cameron Puertas, Sven Stein of FC20. I mean, FC20 have had a really good season this year, sitting third in the Eredivisie. Obviously helped by Ajax being absolutely dog shit this year.
Aye.
But we've been previously linked with a left back. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but we've been linked with a left back again as an option if Yilmaz goes. But Stein kind of similar to where Puertas plays in the middle of the pitch. I mean, this season he's just been on fire, and he's 21 goals, 21 appearances, sorry, 12 goals and 2 assists. And a goal every 131 minutes from midfield. I mean, I feel like that's where we need to be getting more of our goals from, to be honest. We need to have people creating in the middle of the pitch. And I think, again, if we had to go and put out the boat and sign a guy for a fee that could really come in and look at the kind of signings we made in previous years. I mean, he kind of fits under that bracket. He's valued at 5 million on Transfermarkt. It would probably be a lot higher considering the season he's having, but again, one of the ones that you throw into this and you're like, why not? Why not go and sign a guy of this quality?
I mean, first off, I mean, he does look like an ex-Ranger. He does look a bit like Jason Cummins there. Is that, should have known his brother or something? I mean, Jesus. No, I mean, I definitely. I mean, you look at the quality again. Just me and you sitting here and doing this kind of list that we're sort of looking at and going, right, he would fit the bill, he could do a job and what have you. And then you look at what the club actually do, and it's just, I'm like, come on, what are we doing here? But definitely another quality option, as you say. He seems like he's on fire this season, so it's one obviously me and you would 100% go for, but it's all about the club and would they actually go for it? Don't know, it feels weird so far, obviously. Well, I wasn't expecting obviously too much for this window. I was expecting maybe one or two in, but it feels like we're just going to be doing loans and obviously no signing players permanent. But again, you'll highlight this guy that you've highlighted and then the boy I've highlighted as well, having fantastic seasons and more likely top of top clubs are more likely going to be looking at them. So I mean, it's just a shame Rangers only willing to step up the game and make signings like this. You think as well, obviously the way the title is, still a chance for us to go there. And you know what I mean? I'm just thinking to myself, come on, you've got to pull a big
It's
signing out here.
This
You
is
know what I mean?
exactly it. I mean, you look at Celtic are about to sign another winger for £3.5 million. They've identified an issue and they're going to go and sign somebody for value, and they're going to go and really go and make a push for it because I feel like they know they're under pressure as well. Rangers are putting up a charge and probably they didn't think that was going to happen the first couple of months of the season. So it's just frustrating. That was all I had, by the way. That was everybody. But I think it's just frustrating how every single rumor that we ever get is just completely shut down by mainstream media and the sources close to the club. And obviously, the club keep your cards kind of close to your chest, 100%. But you would like to get a bit of indication there's
Still,
something going on behind the scenes. Like it doesn't really seem like that at the moment. Obviously, there probably is. I mean, there's probably a lot of players that we're looking at, but are they going to be the right ones? I mean, linked with some of the players that we're linked with, sometimes just feel like seriously, like who was
I
it?
just feel
It was Van Veen, obviously at the start of this window, and you're like, that is one at this moment you could probably see happening more than any of the other ones, which is
it.
like what are we doing?
I mean, sometimes it just feels like they're just throwing it on the wall. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, just go for this guy. I mean, it's just crazy as I say. I mean, you do these kind of last minute pick. I think decent players that the club could potentially get and would definitely improve the squad massively. But I just still waiting. Rangers want to see some business, or as you say, all the rumours sort of getting rubbish down. One that I hope that doesn't. I hope by the end of this window, I'm happy tears of Barisic leaving the club on a permanent. That would be obviously seeing that he was linked with Leeds as well, which is, I mean, just anything. Just I don't need to watch him play. Do you know what I mean? But we're a bit of luck. Barisic is gone. That's obviously the one for me. But I just think, come on, do a bit of business here.
Aye, and especially some of the deals that obviously Lammers went out on loan, which is
It seems like it's going
well,
to be a permanent or something. I've seen they were praising him already.
I mean, he had a decent enough debut, I think, over there, but he's obviously headed out on loan. Yilmaz has been the only other rumour you've kind of seen that's possible leaving. It's maybe a wee bit advanced, and then you have no idea what's actually happening there. Rangers knocking back fees, and apparently it was going to be a loan with an option to buy, and you're thinking, why even entertain that kind of thing? And For me, as we kind of sit here right now, I would just keep Yilmaz, to the summer and reevaluate that position, because I feel like there's much more that we need to do in this window. We need a winger, a midfielder, possibly a centre half. A striker is
Striker.
absolutely key. We need a striker more than probably anything. And we're not really linked with anybody in those areas apart from left backs. It's like, what are we doing?
Doing, I know. I mean, if anything, if Rangers were just to sign Shankland this window, I think most of us would be happy because we've got a man that's obviously, as I say, doing so well at Hearts. He's leading the line and what have you. But I just think if you get him in, it's a real chance to potentially win the league if you've got a forward like that.
Nah,
But I mean, as I say, we've sat here and we've highlighted also areas where do feel like we need improvement. For me, Yalmaz, I just don't see the point in getting obviously rid of him. Still young, still really just starting to come to his full potential. Really, I feel like, do you know what I mean? Obviously, stop start. So, I mean, also there's other players. Obviously, last episode we highlighted where we feel like they maybe should leave. But who knows what's going to happen? All you want is the Rangers to do a bit of business and let us know what's actually going on, who's staying and who's going.
nah. Obviously, we've got a couple of weeks until the end of the window, but ideally, you would have liked to have maybe one or two guys going out with the team and bonding with the team over in La Manga before
Do you watch a
um,
friendly?
that friendly. The friendly was poor. That's why we're not even
That
talking about it.
10 minute man.
The friendly was poor. I mean, that just highlighted to me again how much quality we need in this team to really go and. I mean, we're in the Europa League quarterfinals right now, nearly last 16. We're through, obviously. I was at the quarterfinals we're in. Can't even remember how
Aye,
it works.
aye.
But we're through anyway. We're not having to play that playoff. We cannot sit there and think we're going to get anywhere with the players that we've got. I'm afraid Cyril Dessers isn't going to do it.
No.
Up front, Kemar Roof's not fit. Fabio Silva, 100%. Hope he's great, and I look to see more of him. But again, he doesn't look like that kind of out and out number 9 that's going to score his goals. I've got concerns about how we're kind of going, but again, it's obviously 2 weeks that we've got to wait to see actually what does kind of happen. But
Middle of the
um,
park's concerning as well for me. I think Cifuentes, I'm a bit concerned about that really as well. I'm just like, I know, you know what I mean. I'm just a bit concerned on that guy, really, to be fair. But the middle of the park, as I say, obviously top area, same as yourself. But middle of the park's where I'm really concerned. There's no real quality. Obviously, Lundstrom got in there. My boy Sterling can do a job, but you know what I mean. You really want more options in there, more quality. So that's a
nah,
concern in itself.
nah, and obviously Raskin coming back's a bonus, but
Massive, massive plus, but he's going to need so much. You know what I mean, to get up to game speed. And I just
it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one because we've got players there, obviously, we think are decent, but they've not proven themselves. We've got players that are injured that are coming back, and you've got players who realistically aren't good enough and shouldn't be here anymore, but are hard to shift off the wage bill. It's what situation we're in now. I thought this would be a kind of difficult transfer window for us to actually get kind of top signings in. But when you see Celtic going and doing business and rectifying the issues they've got, we need to react,
step
and
up
we
the game.
need to step up and actually look like a team that wants to win the league. I mean, the possible rumour of Michy Batshuayi joining last week was one that was right. We could actually be going for somebody proper quality here to go and try and win this league. And then it's quieted down straight away, and nobody has any idea what's happening. So I guess we can just kind of wait, refresh Twitter, see what's actually coming through in terms of the rumour situation, and hope at least a couple of them are going to come through for us. Obviously, we'll probably hear from Philippe Clement after the game on Tuesday. He'll probably go to the press and he'll speak about the situation, the questions, and
Steel cage
those
match.
two.
All that.
Aye, yeah, steel cage match obviously that we have to for the weekend. So obviously we're back in action as well at Dumbarton and Saturday in the cup. So it's a good opportunity for players like you say, Cifuentes, Raskin to get back fit. Um,
Good opportunity for some of the young
Fabio
boys as well.
Silva, young boys. I mean, it's a good option to go and really stake a claim to get in the side. But aye, we kind of just need to wait till next week, see what happens. Obviously, we'll be back next week with looking at what's happening through the week, looking at the game, and we'll obviously get that game against Hibs coming up next week as well. So all important game to get right back into league action away at Easter Road. It's obviously one of our games in hand as well. So aye, we'll need to see where the squad lies then. But obviously, until then, if you could let us know on who you would sign for Rangers this January. Obviously, we are budgeted £0 if if possible. Let us know. But we'll be back next week with another episode.